Hello, welcome to the channel. Today what we're going to take a look at is the GitHub Copilot CLI and the GitHub Copilot SDK. Let's go. Alright, so there's been a lot of noise, interest, hype, whatever you want to call it, lately about the Copilot CLI, and I must say it's well warranted. So if you're not familiar with it, here's just kind of a brief description, and there's lots of other videos that go much deeper than I will, but just wanted to give people a first taste of this. So the CLI is a terminal-first Copilot experience that developers can go ahead and use to plan work, modify files, run commands using natural language. It's interactive, and it is approval-driven. So you might find some similarities here with if you're using agent mode inside of GitHub Copilot, but there's also some additional capabilities. So we do have access naturally to models, right? So that's given. And these would be models that are available to you as part of your GitHub subscription. So that's important. There's also tools, right? So we can go ahead and connect to MCP servers, but we also can go ahead and build local tools as well. And so what you do get access to is like the file system, and there's inherently some additional tools that play well with the file system and things like bash shells and stuff like that, and PowerShell that you get access to as well. Now, we also get access to skills, so we can go ahead and provide skills that just enrich our experience. We naturally have prompts, right? We can go ahead and instruct the CLI, the agent, what we'd like it to go ahead and do, and there's so much more. So that's just sort of an initial, description. So here's just a very quick recorded demo that just gives you a little bit of a feel for this. So you go in and create a terminal session inside of VS Code in this case, and you just type in Copilot, and that's where you see that nice fancy little logo sort of splash screen come up, and now we have basically an interactive experience. So I've asked it to go ahead and assess what this particular code project includes, like what's it all about. And so it goes ahead and gives me a very good description of what exists and sort of what's its intent and what are the different pieces itself. Now, I have added access to an MCP tool in this case that's going to allow me to send emails. And so I can now just say, go ahead and send that analysis to me over email. So you can imagine as a developer, you're working on application solutions, how this could be good, very sort of impactful as you go ahead and build, especially you want to do like file differences, code check-ins, things like that. And once again, when you think about plugging that into the GitHub MCP server, well, that becomes naturally very, very powerful. So this is more of a tool that you would use as an individual to help with your productivity. And yes, there are some sort of ways to sort of make this more team-oriented as well. There's things you can do like delegate, where you delegate tasks to the CLI, etc. But you can kind of think of this as more of like, hey, how can I improve my own personal productivity? Now let's take a closer look at what is the Copilot SDK then. So this is the SDK that exposes the same Copilot execution loop as the CLI, but it allows you to embed it inside of your own application, services, or automation pipelines. And so this one, you can start to think maybe a little bit more broadly about how you would use it. So whether you're a platform team, you're building tools, or even you have product teams embedding Copilot into internal or external apps. So this becomes pretty interesting. I'm sure you can imagine many scenarios where you might have like legacy web applications or even console applications or Windows applications. And you say, wouldn't it be cool to be able to go ahead and interact with an agent? Well, this might be one of those ways that you can go ahead and do so. Now, you do so because this is an SDK that you plug in to your own applications. So today there's support for Node.js, Python, Go, and .NET. So I'm going to show you this in C#, but use whichever tool you're more comfortable with. So you get to control the inputs, the tools, the skills, the outputs, and it's designed for being headless or part of a service-driven workflow itself. It takes care of the authentication, model routing, tool invocation, and streaming all for you, and communicates with the Copilot CLI running in server mode managed by the SDK. Now, what might be some use cases? I've kind of touched on this a little bit, but maybe you've got an internal portal you want to plug in, make it more agentic. Maybe you've got CI/CD or repo automation. You want to be able to do custom reviews, analysis, remediation tools, and, and I've bolded this, business process driven automation. Now, that sort of should give you a little bit of a clue. I can't say too much more about this at this point, but do stay tuned to the channel, as there will be sort of more updates on this as they do emerge. And so this was one of those business process automation examples I wanted to share with you. We've got a situation where we've got a contract review. And in this case, we've got a fictitious retailer called Fourth Coffee, and they have a managed services agreement with a cybersecurity company. And what's happened is that their contract is about to expire, and the managed service provider has, offered a new contract. Now, the question is like, this needs to be reviewed. And, this isn't to say that it's going to replace a lawyer, but these are very tedious activities. And especially, I'm going to show you a shorter version of a fictional contract, but you can imagine contracts that are tens of pages long. It's difficult to maintain that context across the whole document. Now, you also probably have specific requirements as an organization where you're like, these are must-have like language in our contracts. We need to enforce that. So that becomes an interesting question of how can you actually go ahead and speed this up. So this is something that would complement a user, a person. It wouldn't necessarily replace them, but still, this is going to, provide a lot of value. So the idea here is that we've got our approved contract, our baseline, and then we have a new contract here. And then what we've done is introduced skills. So skills, in this case, is just a markdown file. And it's really just, data. It's kind of like knowledge in the sense that this is going to help our agent, our CLI agent, to go ahead and actually be more valuable, be more accurate, and align with our expectations. So I'll show you what that looks like here shortly. Then we've got a prompt that's going to look something like this, like you're a contract review agent. Your job is to uphold the requirements of the company. So you want to validate the new contract. You want to highlight any changes between the old and new contract, recommend whether or not it should be accepted, and notify supply chain team of the outcome. Okay, how are we going to notify the team? Well, we can plug in an MCP server. Now, in this case, I've got a Logic Apps MCP server, and I've exposed that. It's got an email action. So we're just going to go ahead and use that and just show how we can sort of plug that in. So let's go ahead. Let's jump over to VS Code. Let's see this in action. Okay, so first things first, this is our contract. This is our old contract, our approved contract. And we can see we've got these different sections and we've got different language. And I'm not going to go through the specifics because that's kind of not what's important here. But the idea is we've got this contract with specific language. Now we can flip over to the new contract, the new version. And here this is going to be updated. And, deliberately this language is going to be looser. The commitments might have changed. Then we might have missing language or stipulations. And the whole idea here is let's actually go ahead and have an agent detect these and make sure that this new version of the contract is compliant with our existing standards. Now I'm over inside of VS Code and I've got basically it's console application at this point. And you can see here I've got a reference to this GitHub Copilot SDK. So that's super important. I've got some other references as well. But this is something that was vibe coded, right? So I didn't write this code. I went in and described this. Actually, I had some help from a teammate, Karan. Thanks for helping me out, getting me started. But basically, this was the starting point, and it was just vibe coded. Build me a GitHub Copilot SDK application using C#, generated a very simple sample, and I just kind of removed that and made this my own. So there's not a whole lot going on over here. We've got the main program.cs file and then some additional configuration files as well. And so here at the top, this is just sort of more of the kind of plumbing. We've got some logging going on. We've just got some styling around inputs. Nothing too crazy from this perspective. Got some configuration values, right? I want to grab my MCP server URL and I've got a key and I've got an email recipient and things like that. So just some sort of optional type stuff, some styling once again. When we ask for the contracts, we want to capture the inputs, and if they don't exist, mark it red, things like that. So just some kind of boilerplate type stuff here as well. Nothing too crazy. this is where it's going to get a little bit more interesting, right? So we start by creating a Copilot client. So this is going to be basically our connection to all the Copilot goodness. And then what we're going to do is create a session, and that's what's super important. You kind of think of this, if I'm talking to the CLI and I have my initial prompt, hi, that is a session. So it's kind of similar where we're going to go do that, but in this case, it's going to be from an application that's starting the session, not an end user. Now here we've got a model, and there's a variety of different models. This was the default. I'm not doing anything too crazy, but as part of my GitHub entitlement, I would have access to some of the other models, including Claude. So I could go ahead and change this if I wanted to, but for now, this works. I'm happy. It's all good. Then what we're going to do is we're going to load up some skills. So skills I talked about before, interesting capability. I'm a big fan of how you can enrich your agents with institutional knowledge. That is a skill. So let's take a closer look at that. And what it is there's just a folder here called skills, and then we've got a markdown file. And so here, this is going to outline all of our requirements for our agent, right? So it's like when you use this skill, when you need to review, audit, validate a contract. What are the inputs you're expecting, a baseline, and so basically your approved contract, your new or updated contract, hard like non-goals, right? That's super important. We don't expect this thing to be illegal, like a lawyer. So we're not asking it for legal advice. We're just asking it to enforce what is being provided to it, right? So there's different things like, hey, detect when language has been removed or language has been weakened, which is typically a big sort of trick that people will do, where you can say like shall to may, where it's may might mean might happen. You're not making a commitment versus shall being a stronger way to describe something. So this is just gives you a sense of the different use cases and requirements. So when we're talking about data protection, it needs to be encrypted, and you need to like basically have least required permissions. And data residency must have explicit residency restrictions, not just like, hey, I've got some choice as a service provider. So once again, this isn't kind of the purpose, but to get super technical on this, but these are kind of the checks and balances that we want our agent to be able to go ahead and enforce. So just a nicer way, sometimes you can put some of this stuff in your prompt, but there's a lot of info there, and it's great to have something that the agent can refer back to. Then what we're going to do is define MCP servers, right? So these are going to be, in this case, we just have one. It's my email server, and we're just going to add a dictionary of the servers. And in this case, there's only one tool, but we're going to include all of them. We can do some tool restriction if we want as well, but in this case, we're just going to include all of them. And then we're going to just do some logging and create a session. And then here's our prompt, perform a baseline a contract delta guardrails review. Here's my baseline contract. Here's my proposed contract. Then some additional verbiage, right? After use the MCP server, send the reports to the recipient, and basically that's it. That's kind of the extent of it. So this is .NET, so we can just go ahead and do like a .NET build, right? And this will quickly go ahead and build our console application. Then we can go ahead and do a .NET run. Right, this is now going to load and run our application. Let's just make this a little bigger. Right, so now it's asking for that path. So I've just run this before. So this is going to be the original document. And then we've got the updated, right? So we're just going to go ahead and pass that in. And now our agent's going to get kicked off, right? So it's analyzing the contracts. And then we're going to go ahead and see an outcome here taking place. All right, so we can see that we have the output. I did pause the recording there just in the sake of transparency, but this ran for roughly 10, 15 seconds, something like that. But yeah, so here we can go ahead and see that this has been completed, and we should have an email in our inbox. And sure enough, I do. And so here, what's interesting, we can see all of the sections. We can see kind of the baseline and just kind of the summary of them. And then we can see what's been proposed. And then we can go ahead and identify key deficiencies. So we can see that definitions are narrowed. There's been some omissions here. And then we've got recommendations like restore the precise language, update these things, etc. Here we can see that it's significantly weakened across all major categories. and this is not a good option. This is not a good idea. You know, imagine you were reviewing a contract, and yeah, you probably would, you know, pick this stuff up, and you still should read the contract, but this is giving you a very specific roadmap, and it's actually saying now you know what to look for when you're going through each of these sections. So as you're doing a red line, now you can go ahead and be very confident that you haven't missed anything, and this is going to just give you a little bit of a backup. So yeah, so this is Copilot SDK and Copilot CLI, super powerful, and do encourage people to check it out. And then just kind of put on your sort of thinking cap here and just saying, like, you typically wouldn't run an automation like that from a command prompt. Maybe you could go ahead and orchestrate something like that. Maybe you need to use some connectors to grab information. Start to think about what possibilities could exist there, and do stay close to the channel, because we'll have some updates in the near future. Thanks again.